This is a 2019 Ford F-150. Truck's not even mine, it's actually a company truck. It's got 24,000 miles on it, and what I found was a really bad mildew smell inside the truck, and the carpet on the passenger side was wet. I've seen this in several of the trucks the company has, as well as my family has a 2020 F-150 that had a similar leak and a similar issue with the Apillar over here leaking real bad into the passenger compartment. But Ford actually has a factory, it's not a factory recall, but a technical service bulletin on several areas of water entry into these trucks. This truck in particular, the underpadding and the carpet was absolutely saturated. Like I said, the truck's obviously still under warranty, and I could take this truck in and have it repaired at no cost and no effort of my own, but they're just not repairing the trucks correctly. And here's why. This is the air conditioning leak on these trucks. The bottom of the evaporator comes down right there. You can see this section that comes down. Behind that, or between that rather, and the firewall is this foam gasket that I've torn out of this one, which I don't recommend you do, but I just had to know where this water was coming from after I thought I had initially addressed the problem, which I'm going to discuss in just a second. But basically this goes in there like this. You can see the indentation in the rubber where it was sitting up against the firewall. So the fix, or the technical service bulletin repair for this is, this is the back side of it. This is where your water, condensation from the evaporator is going to drip out, and that's what puts your puddle on the driveway. The factory service bulletin to repair this is to apply an elbow to this pipe sticking out, which normally has a metal clip on it, which I've removed, and install this elbow. You can buy a Dorman elbow at any AutoZone, any automotive repair place. It's a Dorman part number 5047028. It's right here in my hand. It's just a little elbow, and your Ford dealer has a similar elbow that Ford has, and it pops right on here, and they adhere a piece of foil tape across here. You can look up the bulletin, and that's the fix. The problem with that is, and I've removed it before this video, but you can see how I've sanded this actually with a Dremel, but there's a ridge on the bottom side of this tube, and when this elbow is put on, it opens the back of this ridge, and water runs right into the back side of that grommet, and that's the firewall. That's my fingers inside the truck there, and it just continues to pour water down inside the truck. So there's a few other postings on this. People say that they try to access this thing from underneath the truck without removing the fender well. It's not hard at all. All you have to do is remove a small little handful of fasteners there. They go around the inside of the fender well, and there's 3 clips, plastic clips. The whole inner fender well pulls right out, and I mean, you can just get right up to it. So what I'm going to do is apply silicone sealant to this piece right here and put this boot back on. And I've actually gotten online and purchased another grommet to put on the firewall, since I tore mine out to clearly see what was going on. I actually thought after the elbow was installed that I may have had a split some kind of way in the factory air box, in which case I would have brought the truck to the dealership. I'm one of those people, I just have to know what's going on. But I took this truck on a little road trip with the carpet pulled back, and and could actually sit in the driver's seat and just watch water just stream down the firewall into this compartment over here. You can still see a little water staining right there. So what I've done, the extent of what I've done, is absolutely not necessary at all. All you would have to do, again, to repair your vehicle with the same problem, is to go buy a $5 Dorman elbow. That's it right there. Put some sealant. You wouldn't even have to necessarily sand this bottom edge down. You just need to put some silicone on this male surface, install the boot, and then you can actually silicone inside the back edge of all of this surface right here, and that'll stop your leak. And the only other problem is Ford, unless the vehicle is very, very new, we actually had to take the 2020 in 3 times before they agreed to replace the carpet in the vehicle. Drying this carpet out once it's saturated is really difficult. All of the door jamb and everything just pops right out. You just grab it and literally just pulls right out. And it's 4 bolts that hold the seat in. I laid the passenger seat back, and you can actually pull the carpet way up, get towels under it, dry it out, and just completely dry it thoroughly all the way through. And that's going to eliminate any more mildew issue. Of course, you'd have to actually replace the carpet to probably completely get rid of that smell if you've got a major case. Mine, thankfully, I caught it when it was just got damp, and was able to get it dried out. So the only other thing, like I said, there's a technical service bulletin on this issue. There's also a 7-step bulletin listed for F150 water leaks in general. These things have a lot of areas where they leak water. I'm just going to address this one right here, how to fix it, and then I'll mention the other one. I mentioned my dad's 2020 was leaking water in the A-pillar, and what we found on his truck was these 2 rubber plugs in the A-pillar here. There's one here and one there, and there's one on each side on the driver's side. These plugs were actually gone from the factory. There's a square hole there. And you wouldn't think, you can look up the fender there, I've got the hood up so you can see daylight, and there's your antenna coming out, there's your orange wire, there's your antenna, the radio. You wouldn't think that water could travel down this pillar and get in that hole enough to really do anything. And that's all that it was. We took it to the dealership. He took it in 3 times, and they couldn't find the leak until we actually took the time to tear into the truck and find it. And the water was filling the A-pillar up all the way to the back side of this foam insulation here, and absolutely flooding the entire passenger side of his vehicle. Another place they leak really badly is the 3rd brake light. The door seals also leak. There's a membrane in the back side of the door panel. Now that's hard to see, but there's a membrane that's applied to the metal of the door before the door panel is on. Those actually fall down and allow water to pour during a rainstorm on this side of the weather stripping, and flows right into the truck. So they've got some water issues. They're great trucks. I'm not going to say that they aren't. I know there's millions of them on the road, but they've got some water issues. So hopefully this helps somebody fix this particular issue. But I just wanted to post this because you could take your truck to the dealership for this repair, have the technical service bulletin performed, and you would still have a leak. So siliconing this boot on and siliconing that hole shut is absolutely the way to go.